In this video for question 12, I'm going to talk you through a different approach which can be really positive when you're trying to build your confidence with reading Part C or you're new to OET. It's super simple. You start with the correct answer and work back from there to understand why it's correct and the other answers are wrong. The benefit of this strategy is that all uncertainty is removed. You know it's the right answer, so you can start developing the skills that help you determine why. Doing this a few times can then make you feel more prepared to try the question in the normal way, now using your skills to unpick each answer option to discover the best match for the question. For question 12, the correct answer is A. Let's start with making sure we understand the question, which is important whichever method of finding the answer you use. What point does the writer make about super specialization? If we reduce this question to our own words, the question is asking us to decide which of the answer options matches the writer's opinion or attitude towards super specialization. Now let's look at option A. Clinicians have little opportunity to develop certain valuable skills, and look at the text to find the evidence for why this is correct. I'm going to give you 30 seconds to read through paragraph 6, looking for content that shows clinicians have little opportunity and the valuable skills they are not developing. Let's compare notes. For little opportunity, I found starting at the end of line 1, world experts in narrow clinical areas, and towards the end of line 2, interact with relatively few patients. And for valuable skills, I found the whole of the last sentence, the very human skills of dealing with uncertainty, discussing patients' rational and irrational concerns, and developing trust are vital to maintaining high-quality care in general practice. So that's evidence for why A is correct, but that's only half of the skill. To feel really confident that you're choosing the correct answer option when doing questions normally without knowing the answer in advance, it's also good practice to find evidence for why the other answer options are incorrect. It's slow work when you start out, but the more you do it, the more natural it becomes, and you'll soon be able to quickly check through all 4 options against the text to prove 1 is correct and 3 are incorrect. So option B, generalist practitioners are having to deal with an increasing workload. Do you remember seeing the word generalist in the paragraph? I do. Take 20 seconds to find that word again and read to see why this answer is incorrect. Line 3 mentions that generalists have a far greater volume of clinical interactions and form relationships with countless patients. Can you see how this is a distractor? A far greater volume seems to match with increasing, but there is no evidence for the rest of this option. There is no mention of the workload generalists have or whether it's increasing, just that they have more interactions with patients than super specialists. Option C. Specialists may be unaware of work carried out in other branches of medicine. Take another 20 seconds to look for any evidence that supports this answer. I couldn't find any either. No branches of medicine are mentioned in the paragraph at all. For this answer to be correct, I would expect to find words like cardiology, gynecology, pediatrics, oncology, etc. The fact that specialists are world experts in a narrow clinical area is a comment about the nature of the work that they do, rather than a comment about their awareness of what other professionals do. And option D, some specialties attract clinicians with less interest in direct contact with patients. One more time, take 20 seconds and look for evidence in the text for this option. Again, there is no evidence for this in the text. Compared to generalists, we can see from checking option B, they have less interaction with patients, but we are not given any explanation of whether this is the reason why they have chosen to be a specialist. We already knew the answer was A, and having gone through the 4 options, I can see why this is the only one that explicitly matches the paragraph.